I made this, a few years ago while I was still in classroom trying to get my students an idea of something to build. And the unique thing about this is that, as you can see, these hinges are all made out of wood. There's no metal, and all of the ones that I've seen online have been made with metal hinges. And this also gives you a thicker tortilla when you smash it, but in order to get it so where it can go thinner, I have this extra piece that fits in here, and then you can go ahead and make that go thinner. There is no metal, it's all done with dowels and glued. So I think it's a better design. Again, there's no metal to rust or screws that will rust, and so what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing a plan that I'm going to go ahead and draw on NanoCAD to show the process of the design phase. I did this without a plan, so now I'm going to go backwards and kind of backwards manufacture it so that I can get a plan and show everyone how that's done on NanoCAD also. The hinge is is 2.5. So from this point to this point is 2 1/2. This is hard to see. You'll see it on the drawing once I get it onto the computer. We're going to go in about 3/4. So from this point to this point is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to draw the kind of side view of it. This little handle is 3 3/4. So from here to here is 3 3/4. And that's about a 1/2 inch thick, less, probably 3/8. So we'll say 3/8. This is 3/4. Okay. And then it has this little kind of bar that goes here. And that's just to give some leverage. So this is a sketch of the tortilla press. Now what I used to tell my students is that you have to be able to put your the project you want to build, you have to be able to sketch it out so you can get a rough idea of what you're doing, and then go ahead and transfer your sketch onto a computer-aided drafting program and do a finished shop drawing of it. So this was the process. This is my sketch of the tortilla press. Okay, so I wanted to record this. I tried a lot of ways to get it recorded, and I did this whole drawing off of my sketch. The problem that I had though was I used to be able to do this on PowerPoint, but I don't have PowerPoint anymore. I'm just using slides, Google Slides, and I used to be able to record on Google Slide or on PowerPoint and then download that recording as a MP3 file. For some reason, I must have forgot how to do it, or I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. So this was already done, but there's some things I got to add to it and do the front. So this is the top. This is the side view, and then the front view, and it's kind of backwards. It usually goes front side, so top front side. So I'm probably going to move this over this way and then draw the front view that way, the way I used to tell my students to do it. So most of this is going to be on this is, of course, NanoCAD that I'm using now because Autodesk is too expensive for me to use at home. This ends up, NanoCAD for your subscription ends up costing me about $400. And I think it's worth it because I can use all my DWG files on NanoCAD. And it is an online based program. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just giving out information in case anybody feels like they would like to use this program. I'll try to adjust this a little bit better. You can see the whole screen. There we go. This way. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to go ahead and make the corrections I need to make so that actually I'm just draw the front side, and the rest of this is going to be just moving really fast. I'm going to break it up once I get the video down. So here we go. Okay, that's basically what I have drawn on my sketch. This is the top view, this is the front view, and this is the side view. These lighter areas right here are just the dowels that hold the different parts in. There should be one more over here, so let me just stick that in there. You guys can see it. Make it a little shorter. Okay, so these are dowels that hold the hinges in. The other thing I forgot to do, I'll do that now, is, let's see, the best way to do this would be to just copy And then something copy. Clear. Okay, this is showing the hinge, and it has a dowel going through it. Again, these are wooden dowels, so there's no screws, no metal whatsoever on this tortilla press. All right, so there's the drawing off my sketch and the beginning of the tortilla press. Now I'm going to try to, no, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and build it off of this plan so that, again, I'm kind of reverse engineering this whole thing because I built the tortilla press, the original one, without a plan. All right, just so you can see it, I bought this little monitor, and it actually shows me what my camera is looking at. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there it is. So that I can set up shots. I was trying to use my iPad. I just couldn't get it to work, even though I saw some videos online where that's been done. So the other thing I did was, okay, so I bought this external mic for my iPhone. I like the case. It's easy to put away, and I'm sure it's not going to get messed up. So these are my new purchases: the external monitor, my new mic. I'm going to hook that up really quick so that we can see the difference between the sound of the mic and the sound of the iPhone without the mic. So let's see. I think this side goes in this way. All right. So it should be recording with the mic now, and I can see what I'm doing down here with the external monitor. I'm going to build a stand for it. So what I'm doing here is I broke down and got some dowels. Kind of figured out that this was not going to work based on uh, the old tortilla press. This is, I think that's what, 3/16 or so dowel. So I'm going to refashion this. You just got to make sure that I have the right drill bit for it. This is going to end up being the top and bottom of the tortilla press. Figure out what type of wood this is. Again, I got that out of my wood shed. Cut it all down. I think I showed the pieces earlier, but if I didn't, I will. I just want to make sure that I have the right size, and that's perfect because it's still a little loose. So that means when I stick glue in there, it's going to stop. So that's going to work great. So that's the right size drill bit. I'm just going to leave that out. And I might even sharpen it a little bit. I'll put that right there. And I was originally going to make it out of this, but I'm going to change that and try to follow the design that I had before. So I'm going to cut those out, and then we'll see how that works. I'm going to cut these at 2 1/4 just to give me a little bit more material. Again, I built this project so long ago that I totally forgot how I did it. without wasting material. I try not to waste material, but I guess that's not. I'm gonna have to cut 2 of these. That'll work. All right, so these are the first pieces I'm working on now. Hopefully, they work out. The ones I did earlier, I wasn't happy with, so I'm doing this with a different type of wood and making sure that I get the holes in the right spots. So we've got to remember that building some of these things isn't like being a carpenter on a construction site. You have to take a little bit more time, and you have to be patient with what you're doing. You certainly can't be in a hurry. I used to tell my students that you don't get a better grade for finishing a project fast. I would rather than work on one project for an extended period and do a great job than work on 20 projects in a year and just bang them out in order to get a grade. I wanted them to be able to have some pride in what they were doing, take their time, be patient, and if you had to, like I do sometimes, is walk away from something. It's easy to get excited because you're anxious to see the finished product, and as you're building it, if it's going to come out great or not. And there's always a temptation to want to see the finished product, and that makes you rush. And if you rush, you're going to have inevitably you'll make mistakes. So be patient. That's why custom work is so expensive, because if you want it to get done right, you have to take your time. And as they say, your time is valuable, and you also have to respect your time. And some people might not see it that way, but the skill that a craftsman has to finish a project or complete a project is valuable, and especially on custom work. Because you're building it as you go, and even though you've drawn a plan, or you have a good idea of what you've done, if you're just putting out product and it's repetition, that's totally different than having a custom piece that you're building for someone, because you really don't know how long it's going to take, and you want to do a good job. And that's the thing, right? You want to do a good job, so you want to take your time, make sure that it's done right. That way the customer's happy. But you also have to be happy with what you're getting in return. And that's why people have to be willing to um, pay the craftsman what he's worth. Okay, I have a rough drawing of what I'm going to cut out. Now, this is quite scary because your hands are really close to the bandsaw, and so you really got to be careful. And normally, what I'm going to do is push it through to a point, then I'm going to try to grab it from the back and make that cut. So, might even better if I go this way. That way I have something to grab onto. Here we go. I tried cutting this on throw saw, but this material or this wood is just really, really dense. So um, there you go. A little off, but we'll make it work. Well, anyway, I figured this out that if I'm going to make these exactly the same, I need to line up these holes that I drilled on the pieces so that I could draw those lines and they'll be right where they need to be. Um, that's good. I'm going to cut these on the bandsaw, and you've seen that already. So just lining up these other ones, and then I'll actually cut the hinge part out. So that's one cut. Let's see if we can get the next one. Well, make sure you cut it on the right side of the line. That would definitely help it fit better. So that was a major mistake right there. We'll see how it works. Man, what was I thinking? Hopefully we can fix that. I'm not sure that we can. All right, so have to do some sanding to make this thing work. Again, I don't want to take off too much. Let's see. See what this looks like. I don't like the curve that I have on there. So maybe if I take this down just a little, that's going to work better. I think it will. All right, so now the process is to sand this by hand, which takes a little work, but that's one. Here's the other one. I think I'm going to be able to fix that cut I made that was wrong there. So we'll see. But the sanding part is probably, the most tedious and the one you have to have the most patient with, because you could always just say, hey, that's good enough, or keep sanding and keep sanding and keep sanding. I mean, we want it to look nice, but you know, um, probably get this pretty close on a disc sander, but excuse me, my disc sander doesn't have um, a real good disc on it. It's probably needed to be replaced a long time ago, but and it's not glued yet. You can tell the pin goes in and out. Um, it just takes time. I don't know if I'll leave this square or not. Let's see. Once we get it to where I'm ready to can actually connect it to the other parts. This is just 100 grit. Just keep working it until, it's going to look pretty decent. Now this tortilla press doesn't get any kind of real finish on it. Um, it's just an oil that's food safe, or food safe finish. And I know when I was in wood shop back in the 8th grade, our wood shop teacher, we'd make cutting boards and stuff like that, and he would just tell us to use cooking oil. Somebody had made a comment about not using cooking oil because of one reason or another. So I think I ordered some food safe oil to prepare cutting boards and the like. So this is how that's going to eventually look. 2 dowels in here, 2 dowels in the bottom piece, or like that. And then I got to figure out the whatever this length is going to be, if I'm going to make it exactly or not. It all depends. That'll determine the length of that. Now these are not glued again, so they're just hanging in there. So I suppose if you didn't want to use um, a metal hinge on whatever project, whether it be some kind of a box or something that needed hinges, you could just make hinges and they won't look too bad. in order to be food safe, that's the reason that I decided to make these wooden hinges, or I decided to use wooden hinges. Not like, wooden hinges have never been used. Of course, they've been used for a long time. So here's the end result. It came right out of the woodshed back there. Just wanted to do a quick view of. Took me a while, but I got it out of there. So here we go. Continue working on the tortilla press. All right, so I kind of want to show the process that I'm at now. This is where we're at with the tortilla holder. Of course, this is the bottom. And what I'm doing is I'm gluing pieces together just with glue first before I put dowels in. I'm going to put dowels in the bottom. I'm going to put dowels in this piece, the riser, so that it gives a little bit more strength to the connection, just as I did in the old one. Working on the different parts now. Close, but it's going to be a few different things I need to get done before I get finished. Well, we're almost there, so just waiting for these things to continue to dry overnight so that I can go ahead and put the dowels in. And then I've got that little handle to do and put on the finish, do some final sanding. Almost there.